This episode of the What's Happening Delco podcast is sponsored by Delco Meets for Business. Check us out on Meetup at Delco Meets, the number 4 business, and attend one of our incredible networking events. Be sure to register, and we'll see you there. What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Nick Voight of BLOCS. Nick, welcome to the podcast.
Rich, thanks for having me on here and the invite. I appreciate it.
Nick, what is BLOCS?
Yeah, so BLOCS has been around for, I want to say, almost 40 years. We're an organization considered a scholarship organization with the state. We oversee, or actually we're involved with the EITC credit program. That program is basically where it allows individuals and corporations to designate 90% of their PA tax liability for scholarship or tuition assistance use in the state of Pennsylvania. So basically, we provide some type of support for education options for people in the state.
How did this program get started, and why don't more people know about it?
Sure, actually, it's really good. So I always start off, I tell people it's kind of like a bad joke. So back in 1980, basically, we had an individual with the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. His name was Cardinal Kroll. So Cardinal Kroll was involved in the Philadelphia market with different business leaders and so forth. And one of the individuals, his buddy, was William Fishman. He was actually the CEO of ARA Services, which was the I want to say food management before it became Aramark. So they were basically together hanging out, and Cardinal Kroll was like, "Hey, listen, we got to do something for Catholic education." And Bill was kind of like, or Mr. Fishman was kind of like, "Well, I'm Jewish." He's like, "Well, why would I want to explain how this would work?" And Cardinal Kroll was like, "Hey, you know what? Why don't you go? You're looking about possibly merging, selling the company. Got a great opportunity here. Why don't you pull your senior leaders, find out who has some type of Catholic education in their background." They meet up maybe a week or two later, and Mr. Fishman's like, "Oh, like 90% of his senior leaders were involved in some type of Catholic education." Cardinal Kroll goes, "Okay, would you be in a position with this great opportunity without the right leaders that are in your place?" And he's like, "You know what? You're right. I can see your point here." He's like, "All right, great. You're going to be the first chairman of the board." So BLOCS started off as an organization that was really focused on Catholic education. But as like anything, right, as time evolves, the program evolved. We actually handle all types of tuition-based assistance. So it could be anything from a friend's school to a Jewish school, Catholic school, you name it. As long as it's focused on collecting tuition from individuals or families, we can provide support to them.
I'm hearing what you're explaining, and I want to get started. I want to get involved. What are those next steps?
Sure. So the biggest thing is, like in the kind of tie in with how you with one of the questions was, why don't people know about it? Biggest thing is it's lack of education. I think, and again, and no, it's not anyone's fault. I think what it is, it's always whenever you talk about taxes with people, if they're not in that profession, it's kind of like, well, wait a minute, I paid my taxes back, and by April 15th, like I'm good until next year, which makes total sense, right? Because again, if you like out of sight, out of mind, you did what you had to do, and you move on. So we've been really trying to educate people about, hey, here's a process here. So with BLOCS, really kind of make it as simple as possible to explain it is our program opens up July 1st and it runs all the way to June 30th. So if an individual says, "Hey, I'm interested in participating," awesome, great. What we could do is basically set up a meeting. I like to meet with the individual, kind of share, okay, hey, listen, this is what it's all about. So the type of programs that we support, we find out if there's a school that they would like to designate their money to. We have some individuals that say, "Hey, I want to send it to this friend's school," or, "Hey, I want to send it to this Catholic school or Christian school." Awesome. We also have some people say, "Hey, listen, you know what? I really don't have an affiliation to any school in the area because I came here from Indiana, but I think this is a great opportunity because I'd like to take control of my taxes, and we can actually put that to our general fund, which is awesome too." So they have different opportunities to really for how they want to designate their money. And then what I do is I meet with the individual, share the, kind of have this conversation to let them know, hey, this is how it works. And what it would be is, basically I would suggest to them, hey, let's get your accountant involved to this so we can find out what your PA liability is. For a lot of people, they don't know that on their PA 40 form on line 12, basic designates or shows you what your liability is. So let's just say if it's $10,000, for that liability, they're able to take 90% of that and say, hey, you know what? I want to take 90% of it from giving it to the state in their bucket, and I'm going to put it over here to support education, and the 10% still goes to the state. Okay. And then from there, once we get basically work out the details of where they want to, how they want to go and what the right liability level for them to participate in, um, we send out basically it's an e-doc. It's pretty simple. Back in the day, it was a little bit harder for people because it was more paperwork and paper trail. And I really want to say probably too, because when the state was more involved with it, there's still the overseer, but I think like anything, right? Sometimes when the state is involved or government's involved, uh, it's kind of going when we go to renew our license at the DMV. We feel pretty good, but somehow we pull ticket 55, they're on ticket 22, and there's only you and I looking at each other to figure out, okay, where's everybody else at, right? It's just the way it is. And then when you go up to talk to the people at the front desk, they tell you, go to the next person, go to the next person. So that kind of changed, like probably back a little, probably around 2016, 2015, where the state said, hey, you know what? You guys, the scholarship organizations do a really good job. We're going to have you guys manage this more. So it kind of flipped to where we got more involved. I want to say we're probably at 90% now where we manage it. So everything's really e-docs. And we'll just send over basically if we work out to the answers for the e-docs, basically your name, address, all that good stuff, how much you would like to designate, who you want to designate it to. We submit the e-doc to you. You complete the application, send it back to us. We get it approved. And then we say, okay, hey, Mr. Participant, you said that you would like to participate at, say, $9,000. Okay, you can send your donation through a check or electronic transfer. And pretty much that's it. And then what happens is as we go into the next tax year, we'll provide that individual with a K-1 form. It's your receipt. So when the state says, hey, Rich, you owe us $10,000. That's what you say, hey, well, listen, here's my K-1 form. I actually did 9,000 of it already. I only owe you 1,000. And that's pretty much how it works out in the simple manner. Now, everybody's different because, again, everybody has different tax liabilities, different issues that they may be dealing with finances and so forth. So we always try to make sure that they're educated enough and we want like to bring in their accountant. So that way everybody's on the same page because we don't want anybody, again, we want you to take advantage of the program because it's a great program. But at the same time, we don't want anybody saying, hey, well, listen, I should have done 5,000, not the 9,000, right? So it's all about being together on the same page. And really, it's a 2-year commitment at that level. You can always add more to it. So say, for example, if somebody says, hey, listen, you know what? My liability is say $10,000 and 9,000 is the amount. You say, hey, I'm going to do 7,000 just to be safe to give you that cushion. But as you're coming up to the end of the tax year, and you say, hey, you know what? I have $2,000 left in liability. You can always add to your account if that makes sense. Taking it out is like it really can't do that with the state because again, you already made a commitment and for that 90%. But pretty much it's you can always add to it, not subtract at that, just for filing purposes. But pretty much that's it. And then what we would do is, we really do. Our organization has really stepped up doing with their stewardship and thanking people. And then if the donor wants to remain anonymous, awesome, we can do that. So that way they, if they want to send it to a certain school, so that way they may not want to get bombarded with being connected to that school, which is again, everybody has their own preference. But we make sure that people are thanked throughout the process because again, people don't have to do this. It's just, a great way to kind of support your local community with education. And really it's a great business side of things too. It just makes sense overall.
You illustrated a number of different values, 5,000, 7,000, 9,000, 10,000. Is there a minimum that somebody can contribute when they look
Sure.
at their tax liability?
Yeah. So we focus on individuals or corporations that are individuals at 3,000 and above who can participate. And a good corporation is where they have a profit of say I'm going to say $36,000 for the year. So they're really good options for us. Now there are other organizations, scholarship organizations, they do a great job, and they'll actually work with people down to $500. And again, so it's really just trying to find the right lane for you that that you want to run in, or bike in for you that we were talking earlier. But so our focus is 3,000 and above, and then for corporation 36,000 and above for profit.
Is there a maximum that this could be set
No,
up for?
No, so basically, no, really what it comes down to is it comes down to your tax liability. So that's what's going to dictate. A lot of people think, again, because on their they think because with their salary or their profit side, it's like, oh, hey, listen, you know what? I only made this amount, I can't afford it, or this is what I can do. It's based off of your liability. So if you have a liability of $100,000, you're able to designate, that amount to 90% of it. And again, everybody's different, so we always want to make sure that they're in the right position to participate. So that's why we would actually try to rope in their CPA so everybody feels comfortable with it. Because in the past, when CPAs were when the state was more involved, it was a little bit more of a headache for them. So they may have some little bad memories of that. So as again, we want to educate people, hey, it's still the same program, but it's been improved. And again, we're going to continue to improve as we evolve and keep going. So it's always good to have those conversations with the right people, so that way everybody's comfortable. That's our biggest thing. It's not like we're selling widgets or cell phone provider carriers or cable, or even we're in the market for selling homes or new construction. The program's the program. Our approach has been, our CEO Rob Delaney, basically, when I met with him, his view was like, hey, Nick, we just got to get out there and educate people. There aren't enough people that know about it. For example, like the state itself, just to give like round numbers, we're at around 560 million for the state budget. With all the scholarship organizations, it looked like we brought in, probably when it comes all said and done, will be around 460 million, let's just say, give or take. So you have that big of a gap, and between what's been collected and what's available still, right? So it's close to 100 million still out there. And what it's come down to is, like, after doing some analysis and research, what is, are we tapped out in PA, or is that people just don't know about it? And from having the conversations, with our, Delco Meets for Business group, a lot of people don't know about it. So I think that's what it comes down to, is like any way we can move the needle and keep moving in the right direction for this, show that type of support, is just going to be beneficial. So it's just really kind of educating people and finding out, hey, is this the right fit for you? And it might not be, and that's okay. Our biggest thing is, who can we, who do you know that we can kind of network with to share this opportunity? And that's why it's so important to be a part of like groups like Delco Meets for Business, some of the different chambers, any type of membership or networking group, to where you can kind of talk to people and say, hey, listen, this is available. A lot of people, when they hear the idea of, hey, you have control of your tax dollars, um, they're willing to at least give it a listen. Because think about it, if we went to the state of PA and said, hey, can you give us an itemized bill of how you spent our taxes? Rich, you and I are going to probably be waiting until Good Friday falls on a Wednesday, right? It's just the reality of it, right? It's never going to happen, and they'll probably be laughing at us the whole time, saying, put us on hold and say, yeah, listen, these two guys asking for that. But with this, you're actually able to take 90% of your contribution that you're going to have to pay to the state, and actually know where it's going, and then the other 10% that the state's going to get. So it's really a win-win for everybody, and overall, in this day and age, with the political climate going on, both sides agree. They support this program, which is really good, because I think at the end of it, you don't have kids that are Democrat kids or conservative kids or Republican kids. Like, they're kids, right? So I've always looked at it to where we're getting older, so I want to make sure that whoever's going to be in charge as we're getting older, they have the best opportunity for education, really, so they can make the best decisions for themselves, but also for us, where it's going to affect us. So you always want to try to think about that stuff as you're getting older, and you see that, because you want to make sure you're leaving it better for the next person, at least give them that opportunity to make the right decisions.
Nick, how do people connect with you to start this discussion, to see if this is a good fit, and directing that
Yeah.
donation? I'm sorry, and directing that payment to the state. And how do they
Yeah.
make this all happen with you?
Sure. So if if somebody wants to give me send out an email to me, it's nvoight at blocs.org, and our BLOCS stands for Business Leadership Organized Catholic Schools. So really long. That's what we go by, BLOCS now. So BLOCS.org. You send me a line, and like, I would love to connect with you again. And I really just try to make it more of, like I said, an info session. Hey, let's grab a cup of coffee. I can show you, hey, this is what it is. and really from there, that's where they, again, take the idea and say, hey, this might be a fit for us, and take it from there, and let's see where the conversation goes.
And if you're writing that down, Voight is spelled Voight. So
Yes, just like the actor.
you don't
Just like
want
the
to
actor.
misspell that because somebody else may be getting your email.
Yeah, that's it. And they, poor guy, if he is getting it and he's out in, maybe Indiana thinking like, what is this guy doing? So, yeah, so it's N as in Nicholas, Voight, B as in Victor, OIGHT at blocks.org.
You're out and about in Delaware County and you have a cheesesteak craving. Where are you stopping for cheesesteaks?
Oh man, so again, I think Delco Steaks has been like a big one that's been popping up. Everybody's going to that one. But I guess in Delco, like one of the spots that we like going to is because we're in the area is Coco's down on Oak Avenue. One is they've been in the neighborhood forever, so, and they have the nice little back room to where everybody can, if you have a party there, and they do a pretty good job with it. But yeah, I mean, even too, I think sometimes Imperial, a lot of people sleep on Imperial, so they do a pretty good job too with their cheesesteaks. A lot of people, they think it's just the pizza with the sand on the bottom of it, but Imperial does a pretty good job too.
All right, that pizza craving. Where are you going for pizza?
Pika's. You got to go to Pika's. I think that's the go-to. I think everybody will agree with that. Pika's is the place to go. So can't miss. Can't. It reminds me of like when my grandmother used to make pie for us on the weekend. So square pie, can't go wrong with that.
What do you like on your pizza?
I'd say probably sausage and mushroom is probably the go-to. When you're younger, you can get the pepperoni, but now it's like indigestion and everything else. and I'm actually more of a white pizza fan too, so it's can't go wrong with that either.
You have a convenience store need. Where are you stopping? Wawa or Royal Farms?
Wawa, definitely Wawa. Yeah, I think Wawa now it's between, they're not, in my opinion, not as I don't want to say as good, but they've changed since when they used to make their own when they used to slice the lunch meat. I think that's where they're at in their heyday. But it's a little different now.
Nick, how do you explain Delco to someone who's never been here or has not heard of Delco before?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good one. I think with Delco, it's unique would probably be the word I would use. Meaning that you pull in a lot of people from different areas of Philadelphia, and even some of the surrounding suburbs. And I think Delco in general has uh, they have a good, I think, sense of wanting to be. It's a good unity here. I think you have good diversity. And I think sometimes they have a little bit of an edge to them, if that makes sense. So a little diversity, I think it's welcoming, but at the same time, a little bit of an edge. So it's not a bad thing.
You have friends or family coming in from out of town and you want to give them or take them to have that Delco experience. Where are you sending them or where are you taking them?
Actually, so we like doing the dining under the stars in media. I think it's an awesome spot. Maybe not on a 100-degree day, but if you can get out there in May or even in late September, October, I think that's an awesome spot to go to. And I think that's a good spot for dinner. I think just in general with Delco, I think you have a lot of different spots, different parks that you can go to where it's a pretty good area to kind of experience the lay of the land.
We're going to enjoy the parks. We're going to dine under the stars, and hopefully the heat does not overwhelm us. So
Hopefully not.
fingers crossed to media so they get some really nice mild weather, not too many thunderstorms. Nick, is there anything we haven't talked about today? Anything you want listeners to know more about you or more about BLOCS?
Yeah, so just like one of the stats, and I'll leave it with this: the American Economic Review, they shared that for every $1,000 increase in family income, so that's basically where EIT was actually able to help support them. It increased math and reading scores by 6%, which is, I think, it's huge. So it just shows you it's not just a financial or a good business idea. It really is a good way to improve education for people that need it. And I think the biggest thing is that people have to realize this program is really designed, for one student, one student household, that the combined household income it can't be above $119,000. So this isn't just going to say individuals that are on the main line area, because I think a lot of times people think like this is what's going for. This is going for like families that really need it and they need an option for education. Which, listen, they're great. I think people can thrive in public school. That's awesome. but there are some people who need a different option. So I think why not give them that choice, right? And give them the support so that way they can kind of, reach your full potential. So it's a great program. So I think anytime you can improve your test scores, it shows that, it's only going to help the kid. So that's the biggest thing.
Nick, thanks so much for helping to improve education here in Delco and being a friend of the What's Happening Delco podcast. We look forward to hearing more of those stories as to how BLOCS is helping people, providing options and creating a better world. So really appreciate that. Thanks again for taking the time to be on the podcast.
Awesome, Rich. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's Rich. Thank you so much for being a listener to the What's Happening Delco podcast. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn more about the people and businesses in our community. I have been a real estate agent for over 25 years, working with first-time home buyers to last-time home sellers. As a listener of the podcast, my gift to you is a complimentary 1-year American Home Shield home warranty. This is for buyers and sellers that I help. If you're looking to move anywhere in the United States, I have you covered with an amazing network of real estate agents. I look forward to hearing from you. My direct line is 215-313-3777, or you can email me at rshaneremax@comcast.net. Oh, by the way, I am never too busy for any of your referrals.